Welcome to our channel. Today, folks, we're diving headfirst into a big, steaming pile of civic distress. That's right, we're talking about the top 10 worst cities in the United States. We're basing this on things like crime rates, poverty levels, and general livability. You know, the kind of stuff that might make you question your choices if you saw it on a dating profile. Look, every city has its charm, its history, its questionable food choices late at night. But some cities are struggling more than others, and that's something we can't ignore. So consider this our cheese-free intervention. We're not here to trash talk these cities. We're here to shed light on the challenges they face. So buckle up, folks, it's going to be a bumpy ride through the underbelly of America's urban landscape. First up, we're heading to the Midwest, to a city known for its iconic arch and, well, not much else these days. St. Louis, Missouri, we're looking at you. St. Louis has been grappling with a trifecta of doom, a high, violent crime rate, an economy that's stuck in a slump, and a population decline. The city has seen its population dwindle faster than a plate of nachos at a Super Bowl party. But let's not act like St. Louis is beyond saving. It's got a rich history, some beautiful architecture, and a resilient spirit. So St. Louis, we're rooting for you. But seriously, you might want to get a handle on that crime situation. Next up, we're heading to the Motor City, a city that once roared with industrial might but now seems to be sputtering like a '78 Gremlin with a bad carburetor. Detroit, Michigan, you're up to bat, and let's just say the odds aren't exactly in your favor. Yes, Detroit is trying to reinvent itself like a middle-aged man who just discovered craft beer and artisanal beard oil. There's been some investment, some new businesses popping up, but scratch beneath the surface and you'll find a city still wrestling with some serious demons. Crime remains stubbornly high, poverty is a pervasive problem, and abandoned buildings litter the landscape. Now, we're not saying Detroit is a lost cause. This is the city that gave us Motown, techno music, and cars that could outrun the cops. But Detroit needs more than just good intentions and a fresh coat of paint. It needs real investment, real solutions, and a real plan to tackle the systemic issues. Hold on to your crab cakes, folks, because we're heading south to a city that's as famous for its quirky charm as it is for its less-than-charming crime rate. Baltimore, Maryland, step into the spotlight and try not to trip over the irony on your way to the stage. Baltimore is a city of contrasts. It's got a beautiful harbor, a thriving arts scene, and a history that's as rich and complex as a plate of Chesapeake Bay crab cakes. But it's also a city grappling with some serious issues like a high crime rate. Drug-related crime is a major problem, and the city has struggled to address the root causes of this epidemic. But let's not forget that Baltimore is also a city of resilience. It's been through riots, fires, and economic downturns, and it's always managed to come back swinging. Baltimore, we know you're more than just your crime statistics. You're a city with a lot to offer, just maybe invest in some better street lighting. You know, for safety's sake. Get ready to sing the blues, folks, because we're heading down south to a city where the music is soulful, the barbecue is finger-licking good, and the crime rate is enough to make you want to stay inside and practice your air guitar instead. Memphis, Tennessee, you're in the hot seat, and it's about to get uncomfortable. Memphis, you've got a lot going for you. You're the birthplace of rock and roll, you've got Graceland, and you're home to some of the best barbecue this side of the Mississippi. But let's be honest, you've also got one of the highest violent crime rates in the country. It's time to address this crime problem, and we're not talking about just hiring more Elvis impersonators to patrol the streets. Hold on to your hard hats, folks, because we're heading to a city that was once a powerhouse of industry, but now seems to be stuck in a rut deeper than a pothole on a Birmingham back road. Birmingham, Alabama, you're up. And let's just say, things aren't looking so steely right now. Birmingham, you wear your history on your sleeve literally if your sleeve is a giant statue of Vulcan, the Roman god of the forge. You were a titan of industry, a symbol of southern grit and determination. But somewhere along the way, the gears stopped turning, the furnace is cooled, and you were left grappling with a whole new set of challenges. Poverty has taken root, unemployment is high, and crime has moved in. So Birmingham, we know you've got the mettle. Now, it's time to fire up those metaphorical forges, invest in your people, and hammer out a brighter future. Turn down that power ballad, folks, because we're heading to a city that once rocked the world with its music scene, but now seems to be stuck on repeat playing a sad trombone solo. Cleveland, Ohio, you're on the playlist. and let's just say, this isn't your greatest hit. Cleveland, you've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a beautiful lakefront, and a history that's as rich and complex as a plate of pierogies. But you've also got some serious issues like a struggling economy, crumbling infrastructure, and a high poverty rate. But Cleveland, we know you're more than just your problems. You're a city of resilience, of innovation, of die-hard sports fans who never give up hope. So, Cleveland, we believe in you. You've got the heart, the soul, and the work ethic to turn things around. Fasten your seatbelts, folks, because we're heading to a city that's often seen as a pit stop on the way to somewhere else, but rarely the destination itself. Newark, New Jersey, you're up, and let's be honest, you've got some explaining to do. Newark, you're like that airport terminal you get stuck in during a layover, crowded, chaotic, and filled with people who would rather be anywhere else. You've got a reputation for high crime, limited economic opportunities, and a cost of living that's about as appealing as a $12 airport sandwich. But Newark, we know you're more than just a layover city. You've got a rich history, a vibrant art scene, and a resilience that's been forged in the fires of economic hardship and social injustice. So Newark, we see you. We know you've got potential, even if it's buried under layers of urban blight and economic despair. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading to a city where the casinos are plentiful, the gumbo is spicy, and the economic outlook is about as appetizing as a bowl of 3-day-old gumbo. Shreveport, Louisiana, you're in the spotlight, and let's just say, you might want to dim the lights a bit. Shreveport, you're like that relative who used to be the life of the party, but now spends most of their time reminiscing about the good old days and complaining about the price of shrimp. You've got a charming downtown, a rich musical heritage, and enough casinos to make even the most devout gambler consider taking up knitting instead. But you've also got some serious issues like an economy that's been on life support since the oil and gas industry went bust, a high crime rate, and a population decline. But Shreveport, we know you're made of stronger stuff than that. You're a city that's survived floods, hurricanes, and economic downturns, and you've always managed to come back swinging. So Shreveport, we're rooting for you. You've got the soul, the spirit, and the resilience to turn things around. Grab your surfboards and prepare for disappointment, folks, because we're heading to a California city that's about as far from the Golden State stereotype as you can get without crossing state lines. Stockton, California, you're up. And let's just say, the only thing golden about your current situation is the opportunity for improvement. Stockton, you're like that friend who's always chasing the next big thing, but can't seem to get their act together enough to actually achieve it. You're located in the heart of California's agricultural heartland, you've got a beautiful waterfront, and you're within driving distance of some of the most iconic destinations in the world. But you've also got some serious issues like financial instability, a high crime rate, and a cost of living that's about as affordable as a beachfront mansion in Malibu. But Stockton, we know you're more than just a cautionary tale. You're a city with a rich history, a diverse population, and a fighting spirit. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading to a city that's big on Southern charm, but even bigger on crime. Little Rock, Arkansas, you're up. And let's just say you're not exactly living up to your name these days. Little Rock, you're like that friend who's small in stature but big in personality. You've got a rich history, a beautiful riverfront park, and enough Southern hospitality to make even the grumpiest Yankee feel right at home. But you've also got a crime rate that's about as subtle as a banjo solo at a death metal concert. We're talking one of the highest crime rates per capita in the entire United States, folks. Now, we're not saying that Little Rock is beyond redemption. You've got a lot to offer, from your thriving art scene to your delicious Southern cuisine. So, Little Rock, we're challenging you to step up your game. You've got the potential to be a shining example of Southern charm and resilience. And there you have it, folks, the top 10 worst cities in the US. A veritable buffet of urban dysfunction served up with a side of gallows humor. Look, we know this wasn't exactly a heartwarming travelogue, but sometimes, you need to confront the ugly truth before you can start fixing the problem. These cities are facing some serious challenges, but they're also home to resilient people, vibrant cultures, and a whole lot of potential. So, let's not write them off just yet. Let's use this as a wake-up call. A reminder that we can't ignore the problems facing our urban centers. And who knows, maybe in a few years, we'll revisit this list and be blown away by the progress these cities have made. Or maybe not. Either way, we'll be here watching, analyzing, and making jokes at the expense of struggling municipalities. because that's what we do.